Welcome to Rise Up. I'm Alia Halal.
Welcome to Rise Up, Irfan Alamgir.
We're joined here by Laure from our human rights team to discuss something that happened recently. It took place yesterday in Bangladesh. Some very distressing news that was released on the Mahdi Has Appeared YouTube page and also on divinejuststate.com, our state magazine. Laure, what's happening?
So basically yesterday, the brother Mustafa Kawsar in Bangladesh was abducted by a group of men. Abducted by the local Imam and his followers.
Just from his house, or
yes, from his house, and he was brutalized, beaten, pulled by the hair in the street, and since then we don't have any news from him. So
oh my goodness!
And this is just a random mob of brutal people who decided to gang up on him based on religious biases and prejudice.
Yeah.
Yes, and it already happened a few weeks ago. He was with another brother, Sabirul, also in Bangladesh. They were both of them distributing posters peacefully in the streets, and I guess it's probably the same group of men, or Sunni extremists, that there were 30, 40 people around them that were brutalizing them, harassing them, and they also tried to involve the police. So
that's just so insane. Imagine 30 to 40 grown men with nothing better to do than to go to someone's house and drag him out by his hair and beat him up for what he believes in.
Ali and I were just yesterday, we were speaking about Bangladesh and how amazing the response of the believers has been in the faces of the challenges that have recently happened, where we've reported people have lost their lives and therefore they should be exercising a lot more caution. But in Bangladesh, they went to the streets and they're carrying their banners over their shoulders. And we're just saying how similar the people were going in the same direction as the Malaysian people. And now it seems as though they're exposed to the same level of persecution. Now, what you've described as horrific, to have somebody dragged out in the streets and beaten. Do we know what type of because now you've not been able to kind of make any contact with the brother in question, Brother Mustafa, right?
Yeah, but it seems that they always use the same kind of method. So they accuse them to be against the government, and so they use also blasphemy laws against them. So just because I think that the element that triggered them was the banner that says allegiances to God, and also the symbol of the face, the six branch star symbol. So
it's always the same kind of ignorant perspective of these radicals and these extremists, that they believe they know what this religion is about.
Absolutely.
They decide that we're blaspheming without any evidence of it. And it is very shocking. We have some footage as well. We wanted to make sure that everyone can see
if the level of ignorance, that word is the operative word, isn't it? The ignorance is tremendous. And we really need to correct this. To hear this incident now, I want to see what footage you have.
Let's go ahead and show it. Brother Mustafa, can you hear me? Hello? Brother Mustafa, can you hear me? Oh God. a believer. We just went off the slide there.
Yeah.
But if we can pull it back, that would be great. We can just read what Abu Sadiq wrote about it. And if you listen to that footage, some context to this phone call that was taking place. So as you said, Laure, he knew about the fact that there were people who were harassing him because they had been harassing him before, right? And these extremists had been coming and questioning him and kind of interrogating him for a bit. There it is. So it says there, this just in, Muslim fundamentalists attack and kidnap a believer in Bangladesh. The victim video called Another Believer, who sent us this footage.
Yes.
It is disgusting that people are bullied because of their beliefs. And it really is disgusting. That is the perfect way of putting it, because when you watch this video, and at the very end, like you said, Laure, you can see how strong this brother is. Because there's obviously a terrible skirmish going on there. And everything is out of control. But the only thing you can hear at the end is Labbaik ya Abu Sadiq, Labbaik ya Abu Sadiq, Labbaik ya Abu Sadiq. He doesn't let go. He's not saying, let me go, help, I'm under attack, someone save me. He's saying, Labbaik ya Abu Sadiq.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
And I think this is the word that's also the words that are triggering them, for sure. Because it's so powerful to be on the right path. And they are scared to see their seat, like, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, this brings up another important point or topic for discussion, which is that when, and I see this happening more and more, perhaps they should be saying, Labbaik ya Abu Sadiq, and then in addition to that, you know, saying, why am I being tortured in this way? Why am I being beaten? So that we can then send these clips off to the appropriate authorities. Maybe there should be something they should say, like, I'm exercising my right as a human being, practicing my religion. Why are you beating me? You know, because although we can't see the images, perhaps something that they can also say through a recorded voice that we can then forward on to the authorities. I think it would make a bigger impact for our people and make a better case.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really terrifying the way that human beings operate when they are not being human beings. Right before we get to that video, the context to the video we just saw was he had known, someone had told him, a friend of his had realized what was happening and had said, look, they're coming to your house.
Yes.
And Brother Mustafa, who, by the way, is one of the most active believers in Bangladesh, extremely proud of his faith, extremely loyal to Abu Sadiq, he said to his friend who had tipped him off, he said, look, I don't care. If they want to take me out of my house, they're going to have to drag me out. Because he said he has the God-given right and the man-given right as well to stay in his place. He didn't do anything wrong.
Sure.
They did come to his place, but while they were coming, he called me and he said, look, they're about to take me away. That's when we were able to quickly record what we saw.
Gotcha.
And it's horrible that you can already predict how brutal people will be.
Oh my God.
Just because you believe in Abu Sadiq.
Yeah, it's very much it's the Nazi state, isn't it? They're coming for me.
Exactly.
And but the difference is now we have mobile phones. We can actually make these videos, and I think it's really important because I'd be shouting on the top of my lungs, "Why are you hitting me? I'm practicing my religion. What did I do to you?" You know, I'd be saying these types of things and out loud to make that case to the appropriate organizations, because we have seen such tremendous results on the ground in Egypt, especially recently, and in other countries as well. And now it seems that the cannon is very much pointed in the faces of the believers in Bangladesh, and it just seems, just as we were praising their enthusiasm and likening it to the very proactive community we have in Malaysia, as soon as the call is gaining momentum there, it seems immediately the devil has turned the cannon onto the believers there. And that is a very disturbing video that we saw, where a person is being dragged out of his house.
And they're shouting in Bengali, so we're not really sure exactly what they're saying, but there's clearly a terrible scuffle going on. There's something bad happening. And then we had reports, right, Laura, that he was indeed beaten and his hair was pulled. Terrible, terrible account of what happened. And I totally agree with you, Dr. Irfan. It looks like when there's an actual impact, when there's an effect of faith, that's when you see the attack of the devil.
Always.
Let's go ahead to that next video that we have of the footage.
Telling him, okay, now speak, and he's raising his hands as if to say, you know, if the wrong words come out, I will hate you. You can see that by the body language. Again, I don't speak Bengali, but the images speak for themselves.
So aggressive, and it's just absolutely horrible that this can be allowed in this day and age.
Yeah, and it also shows from my own perspective that they are really targeting the believers.
For sure.
Because if it happens again, it happens twice. So first in February and then second time now. So they are under surveillance.
Yeah.
It's a very targeted way that they're going after believers. And as somebody who is familiar with that part of the world, again, I don't know culturally if Bangladesh is like the country where my parents come from, where I was born in Pakistan. There are parts, if you are a Shia and you go there and you start talking about the Imams, forget about the Mahdi. There is a very good chance that you will be cut to pieces. And when I say cut to pieces, I mean literally cut to pieces. And it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter
what gender you are.
What gender you are. You will be swiftly put to death in the worst way imaginable. So when we see these images, obviously, because there is a background to the story as well, there is a guy that is now not only saying that the Ahlul Bayt and the Shia were on the correct path, but now there is a new Mahdi, and he is coming and he's calling the people, and he's written this book. So you can only imagine what type of reverberations this will have on the ground in Southeast Asia. But you can see the people with their, it's the Pharisees. They've got their little caps on. They've got their clothes. They've come out of the mosque, it seems, after being riled up by a local cleric, no doubt. And they want blood, and they're begging for blood. And
it is a non-working scholar operation once again.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with... This is the irony. It is a situation where the scholars have ganged up on an innocent man and threatened by the fact that he believes in the Imam of the time. They've dragged him out of his house, and they're attempting to get him under some sort of charge or conviction, even though he has committed no crime whatsoever.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the common man in Bangladesh is just trying to make a living and trying to survive in those kind of very difficult conditions with the summer coming up now. They don't have time to go after people and drag them out of their houses by their hair and administer, beatings. They're just trying to make, a living. It's the scholars.
It's always the scholars.
Religious scholars.
And the fact that they try to convince the police that they are doing something wrong, it's also horrible. So...
It really is. And I think that was mentioned perhaps in the article, which we're about to show now.
Let's go.
Let's go to divinejuststate.com. There it is. There's our beloved brother, Mustafa Kawsar. Look at that bright smile on his face.
Yes.
And he's always smiling like that. In every bit of footage we have of him, every picture, he's just full of faith. Mustafa Kawsar abducted by religious extremists in Bangladesh. Very good word used there, abducted indeed. Let's move on. Okay, if you can... do the honors, Doctor.
I can't read the...
right.
Covering half.
So, it says, Dhaka, 30th of April, 2025. We are deeply concerned by the enforced disappearance, once again, enforced disappearance, of Mustafa Kawsar, a member of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light in Bangladesh, who was taken from his home earlier today by a group of extremist men identified as Imams and followers from his local mosque. The incident appears to be the culmination of ongoing harassment and intimidation against Mustafa and the other members of the faith in Bangladesh. Video footage shows a crowd of men in traditional Sunni attire taking Mustafa from his home in Dhaka. According to the outreach department, which was in contact with Mustafa shortly before he was taken, the group forcibly entered Mustafa's premises after he had hung the black banner on his house. He has not been seen or heard from since. A fellow member from Bangladesh is currently attempting to locate him. The crowd gathered at the local mosque before storming the house where they planned the kidnapping. This case is a confirmed act of religious persecution by Sunni extremists. A journalist secretly recorded the crowd and sent the footage to the Divine Just State magazine. How God works in his ways. There was a journalist there at the moment who was able to capture that footage, send it in. And the crime against humanity that took place was recorded forever in history, never to be forgotten.
Yep. So... Laura, how do we, where is he likely to be? Where do you think that is he in police detention? Is he, how do we now, what's the next steps?
We don't really know the whereabouts. So, because, he was abducted by the group, but I don't know if they bring him
see,
to the
that's what I'm
police.
concerned about.
And also the fact that he has been beaten, so we don't know how is his health situation as well.
Yeah.
And how is he? So
Yeah, it looks like you have your work cut out for you, as they say. There's a lot of leads that must be followed, and I guess the people on the ground are going to be leading this search for him, because when a wild mob that has been stirred up through intolerance and religious hatred by the scholars of misguidance are involved, you just don't know. We don't know if he's sitting somewhere in a hospital or lying somewhere on the ground behind a tree. Who knows where he is right now? It's really important that we find him now by any means necessary.
That's the horrific part, is that there's no system. There's no protocol being followed. So how can you know what might have happened, what the fate of a person might be? Let's go ahead and see the article and continue the updates. Bystanders reported that he was beaten, his hair was pulled, and he was subjected to verbal abuse.
Yes.
This incident follows a previous episode of religious harassment on February 11th, 2025, when Mustafa Kawsar and Sabirul Islam were publicly confronted while distributing posters related to their faith in Bashundhara residential area, Dhaka. The posters, which included the Star of David, were met with immediate hostility by locals and a mosque imam who accused them of working for foreign governments and engaging in blasphemy. A crowd of 30 to 40 people gathered, aggressively interrogating the two men, threatening to burn the posters and attempting to involve police authorities. The situation escalated to the point where the two men were forced to flee after being rescued by a bystander. Bangladesh has a documented history of enforced disappearances, as well as thousands of cases of violence against minorities, including at least 45 murders, 25 gang rapes, and 102 attacks on homes and businesses. Posters are very threatening to people. Who would have thought, right?
And also what I see from this work with the human rights is, from my perspective, when you don't really, you just hear, for example, the case of the Bangladesh, you think, it must be a nice country. But when you start looking a bit deeper, you see that first, the believers are persecuted over there. Like it shows in the article that actually it's not that safe as you expected, because there's a multiple case of enforced disappearance, rape, murder. My
goodness.
So you don't imagine that. That's
happening there, right? Yeah, I totally agree. You think it's a nice, simple place to go to, and it's not. Clearly at all.
Clearly not. And just to share an anecdote based on what you just read, Alia, is that when I was visiting during summer vacation, we were in Pakistan, and I remember we were at somebody's house and an elderly gentleman walked in, and it was the custom where everybody's coming in for dinner, and he immediately starts staring at the design on a wall, and he says, "Look, it's a 6-pointed star. This must be changed. This is not good. This is a sign of Zionism. This is a sign of this and that." And he just went off on one, and I was like, well, why is this man so upset? And this is going back in the 90s. So if that kind of sentiment exists based on ignorance of the sign of the Seventh Covenant now, based upon hatred for the Jews, which is what it's all about, and Zionism, well, the affiliation with Zionism, he made sure, and the guy said, "Look, we'll change this. I guarantee you we will take this whole thing off and we will put another type of design on it." So to have this sign with the brother, it makes sense to me, because I'm telling you, there is so much mistrust of this particular sign that goes back to Prophet David,
right,
who is a celebrated prophet within Islam. So the amount of ignorance is just overwhelming.
And it is found in Islamic architecture
right,
in various parts of the world as well. And you can't eradicate history.
Yeah, they take such pride in the Ottomans and their empire and how they were so this and so that. And yet they deny the fact that in the main places of worship, there's a 6-pointed star with Allah written in the middle of it. Come on.
I think there's more footage to show as well. I'm just getting notified here. Yes, let's go ahead and check it out. Look at that.
This is exactly a scene you can see. You can just picture. This is how they would have dragged Jesus out when he read from the scrolls of Isaiah. This is precisely what happened. And in fact, the scene is very reminiscent of this series, The Chosen, where he reads in the temple and then he's literally dragged out by the people.
People have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
But I think this is how dangerous the truth is for them.
Yeah. Can you see that reaction? My goodness.
Just to say, now they may be people there who know nothing of the faith, zilch, zero, but just to see that symbol is enough to trigger this reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
And you know what's so fascinating to me in that footage? It's not even this mob that I'm looking at. I'm looking at that bright smile on Mustafa's face that doesn't go away. Can you see how he was being forced to walk on the street, but he doesn't let go of that smile because he knows he has the truth? How powerful is faith, that nothing can shake you if you actually believe in what you're believing in.
Especially in those circumstances in that particular country.
Wow.
Again, I'm not familiar, Law, with the statistics, but we came across what you just read, Ali, and now I'm even more concerned, and we have to find them as soon as possible. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure your team is on this case, Lord. There's a lot to do and a lot to work on regarding dear brother Mustafa Kawsar, and we're eagerly waiting for good news from you guys, inshallah, very soon.
We're cheering you on. We know you're a relentless worker for the truth, and we wish you all the best in helping our brother.
Okay. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today, and keep Mustafa Kawsar in your thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
Spread the news. That always helps. Share the article. divinejuststate.com is the website to go to if you want to find out exactly what happened there, and if you want to watch the footage for yourselves. We're going to go to a short break now, and we will be right back.